Uh, Thank you for coming. For Naperville Astronomical Association Fundamentals, I wanted to just talk a little bit about what we can do before we go out to observe. Now, it's not going to talk about making sure you're dressed well or remembering all your astronomical equipment like we were talking about earlier. It seems like every time I go out, I'm always forgetting one thing or another. I guess I got to get the full Pelican case like you have so that way I can remember. But this is more of once you're out there, how are you going to be able to enjoy your time? And it's some of the things that I kind of learned as I did my observing. So, I mean, this isn't the only way. I kind of tried to include a few different ways to prepare for things, as well as some of the stuff I have learned. So, my first question is, how do you get ready for your observing session? When you're going out, whether it's in your yard or dark sky, do you know what you're going to look at? Or when you walked in the house or when you walked out of the house and you saw those bright items? Hello.
Astronomy?
Yes,
Oh,
welcome.
come on.
Sorry.
That's all right. We just started.
Oh, good.
So when you're ready to, do you just go out, oh, those are the bright objects, I'm just going to take a quick look at those? Or you've memorized all 110 Messier objects and you know where they're at? We look for what we know. And it kind of helps. I mean, that's really what it is. Most of us, at times, we don't do too much on preparation. We kind of know, okay, you know, it's fall, so we know Perseus and Pegasus is up there, so we know with that we're going to find Andromeda, and maybe we can spot the Andromeda galaxy. If we have binoculars, we can probably check that fuzzy patch or star hop a little bit with our telescope. I have a go-to. All I need to do is if I know the name, once I have the telescope set up, it's just going to bounce around. The problem is I always pick that object that's below the horizon. It says can't go there because, you know, we don't always remember what's in viewing or what part of the year would be best to view it. And then of course there is that just pick things that I remember and take a look at it. And that sometimes works. I mean, we've all done it, but depending on where you're at, they may work better. You know, like if you are just going out to your driveway or your backyard, you can have those couple of things that you're just going to aim for, and you'll feel like you've accomplished something. Because, you know, there's always the moon. You know, we have Saturn now, so it's going to be an easy object. We can pull out our telescope, take a look at it, and we're good. But what if we really want to experience Saturn and we're going to go to one of our club sites? I mean, we're club members. We get that nice dark sky site. Yeah, we're going to look at a bright planet and ruin our night vision for a little bit before we could look at some deep sky objects. But the details we may get. So we might want to, after a while, you know, skip, you know, or even take a look at the showpiece objects that we normally look at in our driveway or our backyard. We want to look at the dark sky. So will just going out there with, you know, let's wing it and take a look work? Well, one of the things for that is if you're not prepared, what may happen is, you know, the stuff you do see, you'll be able to see that different contrast. It will be nice. The bad part of it is I just drove an hour to look at the same stuff I could have seen in my backyard. How many times are you going to make that trip to go to a dark site if all I'm doing is looking at the same stuff I see? There really isn't ugly. As long as you're looking at stuff outdoors, it's never ugly. So, but, you know, I like my Westerns, so I went with the theme.
That's good.
So what I learned to get us, to get a better experience when I do go to a dark site, because I've gone to a couple of dark sites where I didn't bring a list. And I kind of went with memory, or I'm like, you know, it's well, it's approaching winter. I know Orion's there. I can find enough stuff there to take a look at when I go to. But after a while, I'm sitting out there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and I'm kind of looking at the same stuff. And I feel like, why did I do this? So what I've learned to do, and I'm still kind of learning because I used to do it like a half hour before I was heading out, start jotting down things from a book, to, now if I'm planning on going out this weekend, of course this weekend's going to be cloudy, so if I'm planning to go out, it's going to be Thursday night probably. I should be making my list right about now to see what's going. So one of the first things I do is, there's some easy tips to do. You can use a planisphere just to find out what's going to be at the sky at that time of the day, night, or month that you're going out. And what I always kind of look at is, I want to get to know where the best views will be. Because if you look, east is a little cut off, west is here. If you look, Boots or Arcturus, and M3 is there. I believe it's M3 or is M6? M3. So that's going to be setting pretty much early on in the night. So if I want to see that, I might want to make sure I put that on the top of my list versus, putting it at the bottom and I'm like, oh, I want to take a look at that, and it's already set, or it's at the horizon, it's even worse view. And then, you got the top views here, so I know, I'll have Cygnus pretty far up, and then I'll have Cassiopeia coming up, and then, later in the night, Perseus and Andromeda will be there, so I'll know as it gets darker, I'll be able to start looking at what's east. So when I try and do things, I look at where things might be and kind of put my list accordingly so I can take a look. Also, what you may want to do is kind of get used to, get used to where you are. Because are you going to have a good view of north? Because then I might want to try and do, because we have those Big Dipper galaxies. But depending on where the Big Dipper is, it may get harder. I personally think the Big Dipper galaxies, we're going into fall and winter, the Big Dipper starts kind of going toward the northern horizon versus when we're in spring and summer where it's kind of doing above Polaris. So when it's above Polaris, it's closer to our zenith where we may have better views, because the closer we get to the horizon, remember, we'll have light pollution. We're always going to see that city down from us. So even if we're at our dark sites, we have light pollution around the horizons. So those are things you want to take a look at if you're planning on looking what's going to be the best part and what you can plan. Now, how do you find it? This is from the Evening Sky Map that you can, if you type in the Evening Sky Map, you get a monthly one like this. It's free. Download the PDF. You'll get the constellations and you'll get some features to find to look for it. The Astronomical League has a monthly map as well under observing. And they actually kind of do some guideposts where they'll show you arrows for how to jump from one location to another, so it can teach you how to look at the sky and have a little bit of familiarity of where to go. And I mean, these will still show the planets as well, so it'll give you an idea on what's looking. But these are nice, quick things to look at, to even if you're doing a list for the backyard and you want to take a look at some stuff. This is a quick way of finding out what you can do and have a list and be prepared, so that way you can kind of make the most of it. Because, I mean, we've all had those sessions where we're ready to plan and observe. We get the telescope out, we let it cool down, we come back out and the clouds rolled in. And now we lost a night. And it happens the next night too. And then the third night we have something early in the morning that we have to get to, so we can't be up late. So when we have that chance, I've actually started making lists for my backyard as well, just so that way I can kind of optimize whatever time I can get under a dark sky, because work gets in the way of everything else. So this way, if you could get a list it kind of works, and these are some of the tools. I'll give you a little bit more of our free resources, and then I'll talk about the not free ones, and I have some that I kind of used. But Stellarium is kind of like the sky maps. What I find difficult for it is because you can zoom into the constellations and it'll start picking up some of like what's in there. Like it'll usually pick up and let you know about Messier objects or galaxies. You'll start seeing like little circles and stuff to click on, and it'll identify what's there. And they're also pretty good to print up star maps. I think we even have a session from a year and a half ago on our YouTube page that one of our members who's present had kind of talked about Stellarium and how to use it. It's a good free resource to get it. What I like about it is it kind of helps me get an idea on how high a constellation may rise, or if I want to look at Saturn and I want to know what time, early on, like in September, I was looking, okay, do I have to wait until 10 o'clock before I take the telescope out? What will I see at 9:30? You can use the time feature and you'll see it move up, and you kind of have an idea when it's probably going to cross above those houses or trees that you have in the way. So it gives you an idea of when to go out. So you don't set up at 8 o'clock waiting to see Saturn, and all of a sudden you realize you got 3 hours to go and you fell asleep on the couch waiting. So not that I've ever done that, no. But that's where I like Stellarium more to give me an idea on how long I have to wait before something rises or how high I'll get.
Is that an app for the phone or the computer?
It's both. It's an app. I have it on my iPad as well as on my laptop. I believe if you have it through the Apple Store, there is a certain cost for some of the Stellarium. I believe it's free on Google, and for the laptop it's free. Or no, wait.
iPhone's free too, but
Stellarium.
Plus mode.
Yeah, the plus. That's it. So I think that's it. But for the most part, you can basically run it on anything. I don't use it on the phone too much because, like I was complaining today, I was so prepared I left my reading glasses at home. And I have observing glasses. Last year's reading glasses are my observing glasses because that keypad for my telescope, or if I run my phone, it's hard to read.
What I found is the Stellarium on my PC is great, and it does all those things you talk about. But the version I have on my phone, which I think is a plus version supposedly, it doesn't have all the same features.
No.
Which version of which version?
The plus on the phone?
The iPhone version of Stellarium
Yeah.
as compared to the PC version of Stellarium.
Yeah, they're very, very different pieces of software.
And the software on the iPhone, it does not do as much at all as what the PC does.
I think that's why I usually use it on my laptop. Steve?
Yeah, I would say the same thing. If
Yeah.
you're gonna use Stellarium, use it, and you have a PC, use it on PC because, for one thing, it has a lot more features, and in addition to that, if you use the phone version of it, it's constantly trying to sell you updates to databases and stuff that you don't need, and it's just annoying. So in my mind, the PC version is very nice, very easy to use, has all the features. It even shows you what's up tonight, things that you can look at tonight by category, and you can do all sorts of cool stuff with it, and it's free. So.
So there's another version, or another alternative, is Sky Safari Pro.
Yeah.
And you do have to pay for that, but it's the same program. It has all the same features, whether it's on the PC or whether it's on your iPhone or iPad.
And I do have Sky Safari, but since I was in the free section, but no, but Sky Safari I actually paid for that, so that way if I ever wanted to run a telescope, I liked the program through that. Stellarium, and I forget about that what's up feature because that is nice, because one of the things what I'm going to start talking about is making a list, is trying to find what resources you have for what's up. I do have my laptop connected to the internet, so after the presentation we can always jump on Stellarium, and so if I don't rattle on too long, we should have plenty of time for some other hands-on stuff. I did Astronomical League because the Night Sky Tools is where you can get that map that I was talking about. But the observing programs, it's not that you have to go on observing programs, but I found observing programs are a nice place to get a list of things. They have a Messier observing program, which means it's going to give you a list of all the objects, and it tells you, of course, what constellation it's in. So when you're using your planisphere or program and you see that constellation, you can go there and take a look. We have other stuff, because even our website, our group site has observing program tools that we can use. But I do like that because if you do want to start stretching yourself, because for most of us as we're beginning, the Messier object list is a nice one to go through, but then maybe we want to start taking a look at that Herschel list or some of those others, or if you like double stars, you got to find the list for double stars. I had a friend that loved looking at carbon stars because just seeing that red star in the sky was kind of cool to look at, just to see some color. So and those are places where you can kind of get those tools. Yes?
A red star, did you mean the star like one of the biggest stars? Like UI Scuti or Stevenson 2-18?
Now, I know some of the bigger stars, they're not on the carbon star programs, because carbon stars are actually different, but those are nice things to kind of look at. I mean, what you can do is there's some star guides where you can find those and be able to then try it and star hop to them. I don't know if anyone's tried doing them visually, how easy they are to find. I'm guessing if they're some of the largest ones in our galaxy that they should be visually bright enough. It's just, taking a feature for it. But, when they are, anytime you get to a dark site, you'll be able to see some of the colors of that. So because since they are super giants, they are possibly either glowing at the red, or if they're kind of in a different mainstream, then they might be blue white giants. So those are something cool to see, and some of the tools you can use to kind of star hop through it is just first knowing what constellation it is, and that's in part of the name that you have, and then you can try and look for them.
Oh, I also have something else to say.
Okay.
As you said fall, it actually isn't fall yet. The first day of fall hasn't even started yet.
Yes, isn't that Monday?
Coming up.
It's 22nd.
22nd?
Coming up, but
Yeah.
today is 16.
Yeah. So we're getting close. So, fortunately, some of the fall stars and constellations start coming up early, but you are right, because if we went back to the map, here are our fall constellations, and you can see they're just in the east. So, once we get into fall, then they start moving more into the middle of the map. So you are right, because I jumped the gun a little bit by talking about fall for next week.
Someone's paying attention.
But we're getting close to it, because as I was driving here, I have to go west down 75th Street, and the sun's almost straight in my eyes. So I know we're getting close to the equinox. I remember my downtown days. It used to be fun to do the chai-henge. And then we do have NAA's observing aids projects and miscellaneous.
Those are located inside the groups folder. But
Yeah.
People who are not members could not access.
So if you're a member, you do have to sign up for the groups. If you're not a member, I have a QR code where you can scan and learn more about membership. But it is of course, I have it on here, but it didn't make it on there. Which we can later switch this out. So let me go back to All right. But the link will take it so we can take a look. What I like there is there's a list of double stars